The noose creaked as the wind swayed it, waiting like a hungry serpent. Dust rolled across the ground in slow, boiling waves as the crowd gathered beneath the hanging tree outside Craven Hollow. Voices spat, boots stomped, spurs jingled, but no one stepped forward as Marshal Reeves' cane tightened the knot above the woman, standing with her hands bound. Elara Hale. Her dark hair clung to her face, streaked with sweat and blood. Her shirt was torn where someone had struck her with a rifle, but bruises painted her ribs. Her lip bled, yet she stood upright, silent, unbroken, eyes fixed on no one, as though she refused to give this town the satisfaction of seeing fear. "Bring the half-blood witch closer," someone yelled from the back. "Hang her slow so she learns something on the way down," shouted another. Reeves' cane raised a hand, and the crowd quieted. His badge caught the sun like a blade. He was a tall man, shoulders broad beneath his black duster, jaw carved from stone. His voice rumbled like a thunderstorm long overdue. "Elara Hale," he called, reading from no paper, "you stand accused of murder. You shot Alden McBride in cold blood, stole from his ranch, and fled like the animal you are. You've been caught, judged, and sentenced to hang by the neck until dead. This is justice in Craven Hollow." Elara lifted her head and finally spoke, a voice raw but clear. "I never killed Alden McBride." Reeves leaned in close, his breath sour with whiskey. "Ain't nobody here cares what you did or didn't do. You should have known. Your kind don't belong anywhere but swinging." The crowd roared approval. A rock struck Elara in the shoulder. Another smashed against her ribs. She staggered but didn't fall. Reeves grabbed her arm and dragged her forward, his voice low enough only she heard. "Maybe this'll remind folks what happens to anyone who thinks they're above me." She stared at him, eyes cold, burning with some quiet, defiant fire. "You do this because you fear me." He sneered. "No, Elara. I do this because I can." Two deputies hauled her up onto the wagon. Reeves slipped the noose over her head. The rope tightened against her throat. The coarse hemp bit into her skin. She closed her eyes, not in surrender, but in calm acceptance, as though death no longer frightened her. Reeves turned to the crowd. "Any last words, girl?" Silence. He reached for the whip that would strike the horses and pull the wagon from beneath her feet. Then a voice cut through the dust-laden air. "Hold it." Every head turned. A rider sat still on a dark horse at the edge of the crowd. Tall, broad-shouldered, hat brim low, a long coat worn from wind and trail. A stranger, or so he seemed. He nudged the horse forward through the parting crowd, slow and deliberate. No badge, no gang brand, no fear. Reeves scowled. "This ain't your concern, friend." The rider didn't speak. He stopped 10 feet from the hanging tree, gaze locked on Elara. His horse stamped once, uneasy, as though it sensed something heavy in the air. "State your business," Reeves barked. The stranger's voice was calm. "Cut her down." A ripple of disbelief spread through the crowd. Laughter followed. "You speak mighty bold," Reeves said, stepping down from the wagon. "Careful where you point your tongue. Out here it can get shot clean off." The stranger dismounted. Gloved hands rested easy at his sides, too easy. They were the hands of a man who knew exactly where his guns were without looking. He walked closer, boots sinking into the dirt. "You're hanging an innocent woman." Reeves spat. "She's a killer. She's breathing. You hang her, she won't be." The stranger's tone stayed flat. "Cut her down." The crowd quieted again, sensing the crackle of something dangerous. Reeves' cane looked the stranger over. Steady gaze, unflinching posture, no tremor in his voice. This wasn't a drunk wanderer. This was a man who didn't scare easy. And men who didn't scare easy were problems. Reeves rested a hand on his holster. "Name?" The stranger didn't give it. "I didn't come here to talk." "You brought guns to my town," Reeves said, "and I don't appreciate threats." "I didn't threaten you." The stranger stepped closer. "Not yet." Reeves laughed coldly. "Boys," for rifles cocked behind him. The deputies had their sights locked on the stranger. The crowd leaned forward like wolves smelling blood. One heartbeat passed, then two. The stranger moved like lightning. Steel flashed. His revolver cleared leather before the deputies even blinked. For shots rang out like dynamite against canyon walls. For rifles hit the dirt. Deputies dropped, screaming, clutching hands and shoulders, wounded not killed. The stranger reholstered. Silence. Not even the wind dared move. Reeves stared at him. You just made a grave mistake. No, the stranger said quietly. I just even a conversation. He drew a hunting knife and turned to the wagon. Reeves reached for his gun. The stranger raised his pistol and aimed without looking. Reeves froze. The rope snapped under the stranger's blade. Elara fell to her knees, gasping as air returned to her lungs. He crouched, pulled the noose free, and offered her his hand. She hesitated, then took it. He lifted her gently, steadying her. Her voice was a whisper. What? For now, he said, just breathe. Reeves stood trembling with rage. You just got yourself killed. You son of a... The stranger stepped between Reeves and Elara. His voice cut sharp. She's mine. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. Yours? Who the hell is he? Is he serious? Nobody stands against Reeves Kane. Marshal Reeves Kane's smile was venom. Yours, huh? Bold claim. You got papers on that. The stranger held his gaze. I don't need papers. Reeves' eyes narrowed. Name. Slow. Reluctant. Final. Cole Mercer, he said. The name dropped like thunder. A murmur spread through the crowd. Fear widening eyes. People stepping back as though death itself had entered town. Mercer. Some said he was dead. Some said he vanished. Some whispered he once killed 7 men in a barn without making a sound. Legends. Ghost stories. But standing there, he didn't look like a ghost. He looked like a storm waiting to break. Reeves swallowed. Just once. Cole holstered his gun. I'm taking her with me. Reeves forced a smirk. Not without a fight. Cole nodded once. Then I'll bury you here. 2 men. 10 feet apart. Every hand in town hovered near a gun. Every breath held. Cole didn't reach for his weapon. He reached for Elara instead, steadying her against his side. She could barely stand, but she kept her head high. The crowd parted, just enough for Cole to lead her toward his horse. Reeves shouted after him, "You've got 60 seconds to ride out of Craven Hollow before I hunt you both down. You hear me, Mercer?" Cole stopped, turned just enough to be heard. "Make it 20, he said. I don't like being followed." Then he lifted Elara into the saddle and swung up behind her. The horse turned. Dust lifted. He didn't look back. No one moved until Cole Mercer and the half-blood woman disappeared beyond the ridge. No one spoke until Marshal Reeves drew a long breath and said the words that would turn the desert red. "Bring me every gun we got. Tonight we hunt." The wind howled over Red Ridge as night fell, carrying the smell of sage, dust, and rain not yet born. The sky burned with dying sunset as Cole Mercer rode into the yard of his ranch, with Elara slumped in front of him on the saddle. Her head leaned against his shoulder, eyes half closed, lips pale. She hadn't spoken a word since they left Craven Hollow. Cole lifted her down gently. She tried to stand on her own, but her knees buckled. He caught her. "I don't need your help," she rasped. "You're bleeding," he said. "I'm fine." "You're lying." She glared at him, but the fight faded quickly. He led her toward the ranch house, quiet, sturdy, built of weathered pine and stone. No lanterns burned inside. No smoke came from the chimney. It was the home of a man who didn't care much for comfort. Inside, he sat her at the table, then lit a lantern. Warm light filled the room, revealing shelves of worn books, old gun belts hanging on a wall, and a single photograph by the hearth. A woman's face, smiling. Long gone. Cole pulled a tin box from a cabinet and set on the table. Inside, clean bandages, needle, thread, herbs. Elara watched him with guarded suspicion. "You carry a doctor in a box." "Been shot enough times to learn stitching," he said. She winced as he dabbed blood from a gash above her ribs. "You didn't have to save me," she muttered. "I know. Then why did you?" He didn't answer. He tied off the bandage and set the bloodied cloth aside. Silence stretched between them like a canyon. After a long moment, she whispered, "They're going to come for me. For you too." "I expect they will," Cole said. "You should have let them hang me." He met her eyes, steady, unreadable. No. A flicker of something passed between them. Not trust. Not yet. but something that could one day become it. Later, while the night thickened over the land, Elara stood outside the ranch house, staring at the darkness where the mountains slept like giants. She hugged herself against the cold. "How far is Craven Hollow from here?" she asked without turning. Cole stood near the corral, coiling a rope. "Far enough to make them sweat. Close enough to make them angry. You shouldn't have brought me here." He didn't respond. "I don't belong to you," she snapped, voice cutting sharper than she intended. "I never said you did. You told them I'm yours. I told them what I had to." He looked at her. "Would you rather they drag you back?" Her jaw tightened. "No." He nodded once and went back to his work. Inside the barn, horses shifted restlessly. Cole brushed down his black stallion, Revenant, while Elara watched from the doorway. "You ride like someone who hasn't slept in a year," she said quietly. Cole didn't look up. "You watch too much. Maybe you don't watch enough." He paused. "You plan on running?" Elara stepped inside, shadows cutting her face. "If I do, I won't sneak." He believed her. She ran her fingers along a saddle horn. "They lied," she said. "I know. They framed me. I know." She drew a breath, and for the first time her voice wavered. Not with weakness, but with fury. "Marshal Reeves killed Alden McBride. I saw him do it. Reeves shot him in the back. Then he told the town I did it. And they were waiting for a reason to hang me." "Because of your blood," Cole said flatly. She nodded once. The words hung like stones. Cole tied off a final strap. "Then we start there." She frowned. "Start what?" "Proving you were framed." Her eyes narrowed. "You barely know me. Good a place to start as any." "Why help me?" she demanded. Cole's jaw tightened, but he didn't answer. He simply walked past her out of the barn. She followed him. "Where are you hiding?" He stopped, and for the first time, something sharp flashed in his eyes. A warning. "Don't go digging where you shouldn't," he said low. She didn't back down. "Feels like we both got ghosts, Mercer." He didn't deny it. Hours passed. A storm rolled far away, lightning flickering white along distant buttes. Elara tried to sleep in the spare room, but every creak of wood, every murmur of wind pulled her awake. So she sat at the window with a blanket around her shoulders, staring out over the land. She saw movement, a glint on the ridge above the ranch, moonlight catching metal. A rifle barrel. She shot to her feet. "Cole!" By the time she reached the door, he was already on the porch, rifle in hand. He wasn't looking at her. He was looking at the ridge. "You saw it too?" she said. He didn't answer. He took aim. Fired once. A cry echoed back, and a body tumbled down the rocky slope, crashing into brush. Cole handed her a second rifle. "Stay behind me." They crossed the yard fast, boots silent in the dirt. Cole stopped at the fallen figure. A scout leather vest, hat pulled low. No badge. No brand. Just a scar running from his ear to his jaw. "Is he dead?" Elara whispered. "No." Cole knelt and grabbed the man by the collar. "Who sent you?" The man chuckled through clenched teeth. "You know who." "Reeves," Elara said. The scout spat blood. "Town wants her head. Reeves wants yours. He says Red Ridge belongs to him now." Cole's expression did not change. "Tell him to stop sending dogs. Come himself." The scout sneered. "He's not afraid of you." Cole drew his revolver. "He should be." The scout's smile died. Cole reached into the man's vest and pulled out a folded paper. Inside, a crude map of Red Ridge Ranch. Marked paths, guard rotations, routes of attack. They were already planning a siege. Cole lowered the barrel to the scout's chest. Elara stepped forward and grabbed his wrist. "No," she said sharply. "Killing him won't change anything. He came to kill us. So don't become like them," she snapped. For a moment, they locked eyes. Then Cole slowly holstered his gun and stood. "Go," he said to the scout. "Tell Reeves he has till sunrise to make peace." The man scrambled to his feet, terrified. Then Cole added coldly, "After that, I ride." The scout fled into the night. Back at the ranch, Cole unrolled the map on the table. Elara watched his eyes narrow. "They're scouting weak points," he said, "looking for a way to come at night." "Why does he want this land?" she asked. "Land's worth fighting for, but not like this." Cole didn't respond. A muscle ticked in his jaw. He knew something, but he wasn't ready to speak it. Elara leaned forward. "You said earlier This wasn't about me. You said they were sending a message to you. Cole's eyes sharpened. So what did you do to Reeves Kane? She asked. He lifted his gaze, and his voice carried something colder than the night outside. I existed. Her heartbeat slowed. He continued. Men like Reeves build their power on fear. They control by force. But that only works so long as everyone believes they're unstoppable. If a man like me walks into his town and cuts a rope in front of him, he loses control. Men like him don't forget that. So this is war, she said. No, Cole said. War's coming. This is warning. Lightning flashed outside. Thunder rolled closer. Elara stared at him. You're not afraid of him. I've seen worse than Reeves Kane. She tilted her head. What are you really? He didn't answer. But she already knew. A man who moves like a ghost. A man who doesn't miss. Gunmetal sky. Wind sharp as knives. Cole and Elara rode toward Craven Hollow at first light, leaving Red Ridge behind them. The land stretched in red canyons and scrub plains, silent except for the steady rhythm of hooves against dry earth. Someone knows the truth, Elara said. Someone in town saw Reeves kill Alden McBride. If we find them, they'll already be scared, Cole said. Reeves made sure of that. Then we make them more scared of us. Cole didn't react, but he didn't disagree. The main street of Craven Hollow lay ahead, quiet at dawn but tense beneath the stillness. Windows shuttered, doors barred. People saw them ride in and disappeared inside like smoke pulled by the wind. Fear had a scent, and the town reeked of it. Sully's saloon sat at the far end of the road, lanterns still burning inside from the night before. Cole dismounted and tied his horse. Elara followed. Inside, the saloon was nearly empty. The floor was sticky, the tables scarred, and the air thick with last night's whiskey. Behind the bar stood Sully Briggs, thick beard, one good eye, hands always moving but never shaking. His gaze found Cole and froze. Hell, Sully muttered. I heard you were dead. Cole set a silver dollar on the bar. Rumors are lazy storytellers. Sully looked at Elara next. Took in the bruises, the rope burns around her neck. You're either brave, he said to Cole, or you're tired of living. Cole didn't blink. We're looking for answers. Sully leaned in. Answers get expensive around here. Cole placed a second coin on the bar. Then a third. Sully's eyebrow lifted. What do you want to know? Who saw Reeves kill Alden McBride? The barkeep's hand stopped moving. His one good eye hardened. You should ride out Mercer. This town ain't worth saving. I'm not here to save it, Cole said. Just burn the rot out of it. Sully stared at him a long moment, then nodded toward a table in the corner where a man sat alone, hat pulled low. Thin, nervous hands, looking like a rabbit that spent its life watching the sky for hawks. Tobias Finch, stable hand, quiet, kept his head down. Cole and Elara walked over. Tobias flinched when they sat. We need the truth, Elara said. You saw what Reeves did. I didn't see nothing, he said quickly. Leave me alone. Elara leaned forward. He'll keep killing people until someone stops him. Tobias wrung his hat. You think I don't know that? Cole didn't move, didn't raise his voice. You were in the barn the night McBride died. Tobias went still. A tremor moved through his hands. You heard Reeves come in, Cole continued. He accused McBride of hiding something. McBride turned to walk out, and Reeves shot him in the back. Elara's voice hardened. Then Reeves put the gun in my hand and told everyone I did it. Tobias' voice cracked. He said he'd kill my sister if I said a word. You let them hang me, Elara said. Not angry, just hurt. That was worse. Tobias' breath shook. I tried to speak up, but Reeves, God help me. I'm a coward. No, Cole said. You're a witness. Before Tobias could speak again, gunfire shattered the saloon window. Glass exploded inward. Bottles burst on the bar. Patrons dove to the floor. Cole slammed Tobias to the ground and drew. Elara flipped the table as cover, bullets splintering wood around them. Reeves' men. Sully roared from behind the bar, grabbing a shotgun. Cole fired back. 2 men dropped outside. Elara took Tobias by the collar. Move! They dragged him toward the back exit, bullets raining like hail. Cole fired again. 3 more shots, precise, surgical. Men screamed, retreated. Outside, horses thundered. Gunmen regrouped. Back door. Cole ordered. They burst into the alley. A figure stepped into their path. Tall, hat dipped, coat black as sin. Marshal Reeves' cane blocked their path. "You just don't listen," Reeves said, cold smile cutting deep. "I gave you a chance to ride. You chose to bleed." Elara stepped forward, jaw clenched. "You killed Alden McBride and blamed me." Reeves didn't even deny it. He just laughed. "Nobody cares what you think, half-blood." Cole moved between them, silent, unshaken. Reeves' eyes narrowed. "You always did like stray causes, Mercer. What happened? You get tired living quiet? Missing the sound of gunfire? Smell of powder?" Cole didn't react. Reeves looked past him at Tobias. "You ain't going anywhere, Finch." Tobias froze in terror. Reeves lifted his hand. Gunmen appeared at both ends of the alley. "Surrounded." "Let him go," Cole said. "Can't do that," Reeves replied. "He belongs to me." Cole gave him a look that could freeze hell. "He doesn't belong to you anymore." Reeves grinned slowly. "Then shoot me." The air tightened. No one moved. Even the wind held still. Cole didn't draw. Not yet. Elara stepped to Tobias, holding him close. "You're coming with us," she said. Reeves' smile died. "No, he ain't." A scream split the air, a boy's scream. Cole turned, eyes narrowing. Down the alley, two of Reeves' men rode off, dragging a small boy by a rope tied around his wrists. The child cried, stumbling in the dirt. "Elijah!" Tobias screamed. He tried to run, but Elara held him back. "No, Tobias, no." Reeves raised a finger. "You come after me. He dies. You run. You hide. I hang him where the whole damn world can watch. Same tree. Same rope I saved for you, Mercer." Cole's eyes turned to ice. "Midnight," Reeves said. "Bring me the girl, or the boy swings." He tipped his hat. "You've got one choice left, Mercer. Which life you want to lose tonight?" He rode away laughing. Back inside the saloon, tension burned the air raw. Tobias sobbed into his hands. "He'll kill Elijah. He'll kill him." Elara crouched beside him. "We won't let that happen." "You don't understand." Tobias shook. "You don't understand what that man is. He owns this whole damn town." "No," Cole said, voice cutting through despair. "He terrorizes it." Sully cocked his shotgun and stepped forward. "If Mercer's riding, I'm in." Another voice came from the doorway. Deep, rough, carrying the weight of lost faith. Father Jonah, desert-worn preacher turned gunsmith. Bible in one hand, sawed-off shotgun in the other. "Reeves Kane sold his soul long ago," Jonah said. "I figure someone ought to deliver the bill." Cole nodded once. Elara looked between them. "He'll be waiting for us." "It's a trap." "I know," Cole said. "He'll kill you," she said quietly. Cole strapped a second revolver across his hip. "He's welcome to try." "Why are you doing this?" she demanded. He paused and gave the only answer that mattered. "Because no one else will." Elara stared at him, saw a truth she hadn't before. This wasn't just a rancher. This wasn't a quiet man living alone. This was someone who had walked through violence and come out forged by it. She swallowed. "Reeves is afraid of you." "No," Sully said from the bar. "Reeves is afraid of who he used to be." Elara frowned. "Who?" Jonah's eyes met hers. "You don't know." She shook her head. Sully spoke slowly. "You're riding with a ghost, girl." Jonah nodded. "Men tell stories in this land. Most are lies. This one ain't." Elara turned to Cole, but he didn't stop them. "He was the fastest gun to ever walk the territories," Jonah said. "He ended wars in one night. Killed devils men couldn't even look at. They called him something in Abilene. Something folks said in a whisper." Elara waited. Jonah spoke the legend. "They called him the Ghost." The bullet sang past her cheek, hot as a branding iron. Elara dropped behind the toppled water trough, dragging Elias with her as splinters of wood blasted off the crate an inch above their heads. "That's 6 rifles," she said, eyes narrowing toward the street. "7 if that rat Tully is still breathing." "He ain't," Elias grunted, checking his revolver. "Shot him between the teeth." Elara glanced at him, unimpressed. "Should have shot him twice." Gunfire thundered again, echoing between the charred ruins of Lone Mesa's main street. The night sky churned with smoke, spiraling from burning rooftops. The town had become a battleground. A single voice rose above the gunfire. "Turn her over, rancher. We won't ask again." It was Judge Carver, voice dripping venom, standing in the center of the street with his long black coat brushing the dust. Elias rose just enough to see over the trough. "We're running out of places to hide." Elara shoved her rifle into his hands. "Then we stop hiding." More shots cracked down the street. Elias ducked again, breath heavy. "You don't have to do this." She wiped soot from her face and glared at him. "You cut me down from that rope. I follow you to the end. Don't mistake me for someone who backs down." Elias stared at her, really looked at her. Whatever he had expected from a woman nearly hanged hours ago. Fear, fragility, he found none of it. Her face was fire and wind and iron. He holstered his revolver. "Then we ended." Together, they rose. They moved like ghosts through the smoke. Elias swept left, ducking behind a feed cart. Elara slid right, rolling beneath a porch beam, rifle tight to her shoulder. Bullets shattered glass and hammered wood as they advanced. A shape broke from the shadows, one of Carver's men. Too slow. Elara fired once. He spun and fell. A second man raised a shotgun. Elias stepped from cover and shot him twice before he could fire. Voices began to waver in the darkness. "Where they go?" "There." "They're flanking." Elara fired again, dropping another outlaw, as 3 more took his place. Elias knelt behind a broken wagon, reloading with gritted teeth. "Can you cover me?" she asked. "Always." She sprinted, sliding behind barrels as gunfire chased her. Elias returned fire, fast and accurate, forcing Carver's men to scatter. They fought street by street, yard by yard, until only 2 figures remained ahead: Judge Carver and Sheriff Boone. Boone stepped forward first, shotgun hanging loose in his hands. His voice broke the smoke. "This ain't your fight, Elias." Elias froze, jaw tightening. "You made it my fight when you sold this town to Carver." Boone lowered the shotgun, but didn't drop it entirely. "Walk away. Both of you. I'll let you go." Elara stepped forward. "You let them hang children over blood they didn't choose. You let them burn homes and bury families. You let evil grow here." Boone's jaw trembled. "World don't change by fighting it." "No," she said softly. "It changes when somebody finally does." The sheriff looked at Elias. Regret flickered in his eyes. Then he raised the shotgun. Elias' revolver fired once. Boone fell to his knees, looking stunned, like he'd never expected justice to hurt this much. He dropped the shotgun, fell face first in the dust. Dead. Only Carver remained. The judge didn't reach for his gun. He didn't even flinch. He smiled. "Beautiful," Carver said, tapping ash from his cigar. "A rancher with no past. A half-breed with no future. What a romantic tragedy." Elara leveled her rifle at him. Carver's grin widened. "Go on then. Shoot me. Prove them right. You're nothing but blood and violence." Elias fired first. Not a bullet, but a warning shot that split Carver's cigar in half. "No more speeches," Elias growled. Carver's rage broke through his mask. "You think you've won? I am the law. I own the land you stand on." "You don't own anything anymore," Elias said. "Not this town. Not her life. Not mine." Carver reached for his gun. The street froze. 3 breaths. 1 heartbeat. Bang. Smoke drifted. Carver staggered, looked down. Elara's bullet was buried in his chest. He fell like a stone, eyes wide in disbelief. The night went silent. Elias holstered his revolver. Elara lowered her rifle. For the first time since he had cut her free from that noose, they stood still. "You didn't have to do this," Elias said. Elara held his gaze. "Yes, I did." The flames burned down behind them. People emerged from hiding, faces pale, eyes stunned. For a long time, no one spoke. Then old Harper, the blacksmith, stepped forward. "Who are you people?" he asked. Elias looked at Elara. She looked back. Then she said it. Not shy, not hiding. "My name is Elara Greywolf, and this is Elias Cross. He saved my life." Elias shook his head. "No, she saved mine." Harper swallowed and nodded once. A line was crossed in that moment, not by law, but by choice. Elara turned to Elias. "What now?" He looked toward the dawn that was just beginning to rise over Lone Mesa. "We rebuild," he said. "Together." She watched him for a long moment, then nodded. Slowly, carefully, he reached for her hand.